Are you tired of grainy, noisy, sandy, fuzzy, gross-looking images? Well, stay tuned. I'm gonna fix that for you. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Paul, and as you are probably very familiar with by now, I'm a filmmaker and photographer based here in Western Colorado. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the third point of the exposure triangle, ISO. Don't act... Dang it, I was doing so good. So what is ISO? Put very simply, ISO is a measurement of how sensitive your camera sensor is to light. So what does this mean practically? Let's say you're in a dark environment, like maybe a concert or something like that, and you want to shoot pictures, but the light is way too low for what you're used to. You've already opened your aperture up all the way, you've slowed your shutter speed down as much as you can comfortably get away with, and it's still too dark. So what do? You raise your ISO. But, as with most things in life, I'm afraid, there's a catch. Increasing your ISO value raises the overall exposure of your image, which in some scenarios can be a good thing. However, there's a catch. Think of ISO as essentially adding fake light to your image. The problem with that is it increases what we call grain the higher you push your ISO. What is grain? Well, let me show you. You see this noisy texture, kind of sandy grossness in this image? It's grainy, it's fuzzy, it's not very clear or crisp, it doesn't look very good. This is what we call noise. Now, what causes this? This is something that is caused by a very high ISO value. And most cameras nowadays don't really struggle with this until you reach around ISO 3200 and higher. If lowering your ISO is not something you can do, there's things in post using softwares like Lightroom or Photoshop that you can do to reduce the amount of noise in your image after you've shot it. But this can be somewhat tricky to get right, and I'll save that for another video. How do you use ISO? Well, let's say, for example, you're in a dark environment, let's just say that concert again. You've opened your aperture all the way up. You've slowed down your shutter speed as much as you're comfortable with, because you still want sharp, frozen movement, and your image is still too dark. Well, raise your ISO, but be careful. Most cameras can go up to 40,000 ISO, but you don't want an image that grainy. You don't want an ISO anywhere near that high. So what do? Raise your ISO and keep looking through your viewfinder or at the back screen of your camera until it looks bright enough to be able to see what it is you want to see, but isn't grainy enough to take away from the overall clarity of the image. It's kind of hit and miss, as many cameras are better at high ISO values than others are, and it depends on your sensor. But most of the time, if you raise your ISO value until you're a little bit underexposed for what you want to see, but you don't look super grainy, you're good. If you're looking for more information on controlling your exposure using the other parts of the exposure triangle, I've made videos before this one that I'll put links to down below in the description or up in the cards. I think it's on this side, I'm not really sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. If you liked all the things that I have presented to you so far, leave a like on the video, and of course, subscribe. It would help me out quite a bit. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.